Hi, I'm Lisa Barg. I'm an associate professor of music history here at the Schulich School of Music of McGill University. For my upcoming Research Alive presentation on February 28th at 5 p.m. in Tanna Schulich Hall, I'll be speaking on the topic of gender, sexuality, and collaboration in jazz. I'm going to explore these topics through a focus on two important mid-century jazz artists, Billy Strayhorn and Melba Liston. So when we think about the history of jazz, we usually think about great instrumentalists and soloists such as Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, and Charlie Parker, or perhaps legendary singers like Billie Holiday and Ella Fitzgerald. However, jazz history was also shaped by the creative contributions of many non-performing artists, most notably the work of arrangers or arranger-composers, many of whom spent their careers in relative anonymity, working behind the scenes in support roles. This was the case for Billy Strayhorn and Melba Liston. Both artists acted as something like silent partners to high-profile musicians. Strayhorn was the longtime arranging and composing partner of Duke Ellington, a position that involved collaborating not only with the instrumentalists in the band, but also with singers and dancers. Liston spent over 3 decades arranging for the band leader and pianist Randy Weston, and before that she composed and scored charts and arranged for the bands of Dizzy Gillespie and Quincy Jones. Another factor linking the careers of Strayhorn and Liston is that for both artists, the option to work behind the scenes was closely connected to their marginalized social identities. Strayhorn was one of the first openly gay African-American musicians in jazz history, and his identity as a Black queer artist affected virtually every aspect of his career, from the creative roles he could assume and the dynamics between himself and his collaborators, to his musical or artistic sensibility and the types of musical and theatrical projects that interested him. For Liston, being a Black woman musician in a heavily male-dominated jazz world, working behind the scenes, scoring charts as an arranger and a composer, provided her a space to carve out a position of creative authority at a time when men would have been reluctant to accept her in leadership roles, such as a band leader or even a featured soloist. She was a trombonist. So in my Research Alive presentation, I will be talking about collaboration and creativity in the music of Liston and Strayhorn in relation to their social identities and larger cultural histories of gender and sexuality. I'm particularly excited to be talking about my research in collaboration with the McGill Jazz Orchestra under the direction of Joe Sullivan, who will be performing a selection of original works and arrangements by Strayhorn and Liston. Thank you.